Hey everyone, Mike Embry with SibcyCline Realtors here, and welcome to Open Book Realtor, the channel where we give insight and discuss tips to lead you to more success when you buy and sell, but most importantly, give you the reality of real estate. Today we're going over the 5 steps that you need to take in order to buy a house. Some is going to be pretty obvious, you've definitely heard it before, but we're going to be going into some details that you might not have thought of. Some of these details are going to give you some education and insight that could possibly save you thousands of dollars over the course of the process when you're purchasing a home, but also keep it fun, keep it exciting, and solve some problems before they even arise for you so you can have a smooth transaction and have the most success. But before we get into all of that, please remember that I am a licensed realtor in the state of Ohio, so some of this may differ in your state or country. None of this should be taken as explicit instruction, but more for fun and general education and insight. Consult your realtor or attorney with contract or process questions. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in the greater Dayton, Ohio areas, I would love to work with you. If not, don't worry though, I'm also a relocation specialist with the leading real estate companies of the world, specializing in the best connections for buyers and sellers around the world. I'm local and global, so make sure you subscribe, leave a like and a comment of where you are, with content ideas you'd like to see on the channel, and send me an email with your real estate needs and I would be happy to connect you to a top-notch agent in your area. Contact information and links are below, so with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. All right, step number 1 is going to be save money and build and repair your credit if it needs it. That's obvious. Most loans need a down payment, so you need some funds for that. But there's some pieces to it that not everybody realizes. So start saving money, start repairing your credit. Do it now, do it yesterday, do it last week and last year. Just start doing it. So why do you need more funds than necessarily the down payment? Well, I mean, when you move in, you always have design ideas for yourself. You might want to change backsplash, some tile, flooring. You might want to decorate a certain way or something to that effect. You need funds to do things like that. So it's nice to have some in reserve. But when it comes to your loan, there's a lot more to it than just the down payment. There's also things like closing costs that you might have to pay for the lender to process everything. And the amount that you put down on your purchase brings the amount you owe down, which impacts your monthly payment. So next steps that we're going to be going over are going to be some professionals that are going to give you some insight to that kind of thing. But that's as far as like funds and having a nest egg and being able to make yourself a bit more accessible to things, because the higher your down payment also becomes means the higher the price can possibly be for your purchase. So if you end up realizing the style of house, the type of house, or where you want to live is just out of where you think you're gonna be, the more money you save, you can knock off of that top price, which pulls it down to that monthly expenditure, the debt to income ratio, as they say, that will fit right into your budget. So your credit, having your credit be a bit better than maybe it is right now will probably put you into a bracket that's going to save you more money on a monthly basis. And that's really why so many people are purchasing right now, is because it is so much more affordable to own than it is to rent. I mean by hundreds of dollars. And if we can get just a little bit of an extra down payment and get our credit a little bit higher to get that lower rate, you're gonna be so happy that not only are you saving a bit more than other people, you're saving a lot more than other people because you've taken the steps to be prepared and ready to go. So that takes us to step number 2, which is find a good realtor. An actual realtor is held to a much higher standard of ethics, so much so they had to take an oath in order to start practicing real estate and to have access to everything that's out there. So there are boards of realtors and associations that monitor our behavior as realtors. So you have your local board, you have a state board, and you have the National Association of Realtors that influence how we have to behave. You can work with whoever you want, but you might want to consider who they're working for. Are they working for you or are they working for themselves? And I'll actually be making an entire video about pretty much all of these points, particularly how to pick a realtor, things like that, giving you a much more in-depth understanding as to how we operate and all that kind of stuff that you need to look out for. But I'm just going to touch on a few points here. There can be some tricks within certain states that realtors can maneuver around and make a bit more money. Some realtors are only going to show you their listings or their company's listings. It's unfortunate that they do that, but they will, because that state that you're in may allow what's called dual agency. That means the buyer or the realtor can represent both the buyer and seller in the same transaction. So that means they're doing what's called double dipping. I'm not an agent who does that, so if you want connected to an agent who's going to show you everyone's listings, so you have as many opportunities as possible, again, leave a comment, let me know where you're at, I'll make that connection for you. You definitely want to choose a realtor that also has you in mind. So some agents are very transactionally based, they're very money motivated, and you can tell that in their behavior. And then there's some agents who are full-time, some agents are part-time. Your wants and needs need to be met by the realtor you choose. So you need to take that into consideration. Are you going to be very laid back, very lackadaisical? You can kind of plan your schedule out and you're not going to need to see things very quickly. Then you might be okay with a part-time agent or possibly a new agent who's kind of still learning as they go. If that makes you comfortable, then by all means. But if you're somebody who needs to do things pretty quickly, you know you need to move into something very fast, you need somebody who's efficient and all of that, you might need to consider a full-time realtor versus a part-time realtor or someone who's just starting out, because they will be a bit more available for you and they will have everything laid and ready to go to hit that ground running and get everything done as quick and efficiently as possible for you. Then some agents or realtors are going to be giving you some recommendations of connections in their area, which is fantastic. However, you might want to consider asking them a question of, are they receiving some sort of financial benefit from that referral? The reason why you want to ask them that is to make sure that they're giving you a recommendation because it's best for you, not because they're making a bonus off of that referral. There are many states that don't even allow that at all, and it's pretty much frowned upon that that's a scenario that could even be. But it does still happen. So you want to double check that. It may be that the person that they're recommending is the best person, but it would be nice for you to know their motivation in giving you that referral rather than just kind of blindly trusting them. When it comes to recommendations that a realtor is going to give you, you want to make sure that they're giving you a few, not just one. If they say, oh, you're going to have to use this lender, that's up to you, not them. Okay, so make sure that you have an agent that you feel like you can trust. And when it comes down to it, you're gonna know when you have the right agent. They're gonna be very comfortable to be around for you. You feel like you can be open and honest with them. You're gonna be working with them a lot, possibly over the next few months to the next maybe couple of years, depending on the type of transaction that you're going through. And if that's the case, you really need to make sure that you and that person not only just get along, but that you feel you can really trust them and that they're gonna be right there by your side to lead you and guide you down this path to the most success possible. Now, when it comes to referrals that realtors are giving, that actually is bringing me to step number 3. Step number 3 is find yourself a good loan officer. But not every loan is created equal. Not every lender does the same thing, and not every loan officer operates the same. What do I mean by that? Well, some lenders are only going to offer the most popular loan types. Some are a little bit more specialized to weird loan types that take a bit more specialization and understanding and experience to even operate within. So we talked about credit. So there are certain loan types that are going to require a minimum credit score. But then that type of loan with a certain lender might require a different credit score that might be even higher because that's the lender's requirements. So it's important to talk to a few different loan officers and lenders to make sure that you are getting the most options available to you so you can feel confident that you're making the right choice of how you're going to financially move forward with that purchase. So you're probably asking, what are the things that I need to be looking out for when choosing a loan officer? I'm a realtor, so it's in my industry, but I don't know everything that they do, which is again why you need to talk to a few of them. You need to trust that person, you need to make sure that you drive with them, and you need to feel like they're going to be there for you because you're spending a good chunk of money. So it would be nice to know that they have your best interest in mind. But the things that you want to look out for and the things you want to consider when you're choosing your loan officer is, are they giving you their cell phone or are they giving you an office phone number? Do they work nights and weekends or do they only work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday? This is a pretty crucial thing to consider, and I recommend you consider it because you're probably going to be just like every other buyer out there, shopping for houses and seeing homes in general in the evenings and the weekends. If you find a house that you love, or you're down to picking a couple houses and you know you're ready to move on one of them, you need to make sure you get those numbers crunched. What does your total out-of-pocket look like? What is your total monthly expenditure going to be forecasted? And things of that nature you need to have to help you make those decisions. Well, if somebody is only answering an office phone number Monday through Friday, and it's currently Friday at 6 p.m., you're not getting an answer until Monday morning at the earliest. So you might want to take that into consideration, especially in a market where things are selling rather quickly. You need to have a team of people who are ready to bounce onto something with you at a moment's notice and do what's necessary to get it done. Another thing to consider when you're choosing your loan officer is whether they're local or are they working remotely. And they can be working remotely from like home, but are they actually local? Or are they working from another state or something to that effect? The reason why this is so important is if you are in an area that has maybe some unique tax prorations or something to that effect, it might be wise to have somebody who really knows them. I can't tell you how many times I have had buyers come to me with pre-qualification letters that they're already excited and ready to go, and I talk to that loan officer, and where I live is a unique county and a unique state for the way we process taxes and the way we do escrow accounts. So I will give that loan officer a call and I'll be like, hey, I just want to double check, make sure you know, do you know what short proration taxes are? And their response is almost always, I've never heard of that. Oh, great. With that being said, you can certainly use somebody who's not necessarily local, but it's pretty wise to consider somebody who really knows how your county, your city, your location that you plan on purchasing actually operates. Different lenders also have different programs available. Some lenders will actually allow you to rope things like closing costs into your loan or something to that effect. There are so many programs out there. There are so many ways of going about them. You really need to talk to the loan officer to figure out what those could possibly look like. Again, why you need to be shopping around. Some of these programs could be benefits to you that you may not have realized. For example, I'm a relocation specialist with the leading real estate companies of the world, which allows me to offer a program called Military on the Move. It's a free credit rebate program to thank our service members for their service, but not everybody knows that program even exists. So unless you're sitting down with somebody who can offer a program like that, you wouldn't know to ask certain questions or something to that effect. So make sure you ask your loan officer and your realtor of programs that could possibly be more beneficial for you, like a down payment assistance program from the state that you're in. Some of those are true gifts, and some of them you actually have to pay back, but you don't necessarily know that until that time comes. So get the information, ask the questions about what programs could possibly be available for you. The last thing I'm going to say about picking a loan officer is actually going to be to make sure that you give them everything they ask for as early as possible. They're going to need things like your tax returns. They need to see pay stubs. They need to get some information from you to help create the numbers accurately for you, because if you only want to spend a certain amount every month, you've got to give them the information they need for them to crunch those numbers to know what your price point and loan type, etc., 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 are going to lead you to that monthly payment expectation that you can feel confident and feel good about affording that. But you also want to get them everything that they're asking for, including allowing them to maybe run your credit. This is actually quite important. That credit pull is going to give them the accessibility. They need to see everything on your credit, like there might be a bankruptcy that's on your credit or an eviction that's on your credit that's still popping up somehow, even though you think it's off your credit and you don't think it's affecting you. But it might actually affect the loan underwriting and processing. And if they don't know about that ahead of time, they can't get the game plan together to avoid that and get rid of it from the get-go. So definitely allow them to do that. That way you can feel confident and they can feel confident on the amount you can purchase, the amount your monthly payment's gonna be, and they can get you your pre-qualification letter. This is your golden ticket. Your pre-qualification letter is the golden ticket to seeing houses, because some sellers don't actually allow them to happen without proof that you can afford a home. So pre-qualification is really important, but also I am yet to see a single offer ever be placed at all without a pre-qualification letter. When I'm a listing agent, I have never received an offer without a pre-qualification letter, and as a buyer's agent, I have never submitted an offer without a pre-qualification letter. Why? Because it's not in your best interest at all. Because you're potentially putting things like earnest money forward, down payments, maybe some sort of reserve has to be placed. Some of these things are non-refundable. And if you're gonna place that and you don't know if you actually can afford it yet, you might lose it if the contract can't go through. So it's important to do your diligence. Again, all these steps are about alleviating problems ahead of time, giving you as much information and as much confidence so you can be completely ready to go. And you've got that golden ticket that's gonna get you into homes, and you're gonna feel very good about how you're making your purchase, and you can feel confident to even maybe compete with others because somebody else might not be pre-qualified. And if you are, they're definitely gonna consider your offer higher than they will anyone who's not pre-qualified yet. Okay, so step number 4 is educate yourself. Educate yourself. Really, really educate yourself. What does that mean? How do I educate myself in real estate? Isn't that what you're for, Mike? Of course that's what I'm here for. However, all of my buyers go through a buyer consultation meeting where I actually coach them on the contract to purchase that's used in my region so they feel totally ready to go and they have a lot of information. And then as we start to see houses, the light bulbs just start going off and they feel so good about making an offer, and they feel good about the process in general because they have more information to process and they have more ammunition on their side. That's really the main focus of it. So have some consultations with your realtor, have some consultations with your loan officer, learn about what not just the process is to purchase a home in your area, but what is the whole overall aspect of purchasing a loan with this type going to look like? What do we have to be looking out for when we're seeing houses? You know, when we actually place our offer, when do I have to have this turned in? When do I have to fill out this information? When is the appraisal being ordered? When is all of that? That is a lot to learn as you go, and it becomes incredibly stressful. You really need to make sure that you are educated, prepared, and confident that you know the process. That way nothing really surprises you. The more level-headed you can keep yourself throughout the purchase, the happier you're going to be overall. There's some things though that you want to learn about when it comes to purchasing a home, like homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance is not created equal, guys. Homeowners insurance is really property specific, it's person specific. Things like your credit, again, your credit can impact what your premiums look like, all that kind of stuff. But also, not every policy is the same. Some policies are, if your house burns down, do you want to rebuild it in that exact same spot, exactly how it is? Are you replacing that house? Or are you looking for some funds to pay off what your mortgage is or your loan that you owe and move on to something else? Those are different policies. Those cost different amounts too. So having an actual insurance professional on your side is also really important, but that tends to come a little bit down the road once you're in that process. But definitely still educate yourself on homeowners insurance in general so you know what kind of policies you might want to have. The other thing you want to generally educate yourself on is something like title insurance. Your lender is going to require you to probably get some form of title insurance that protects them against unforeseen liens on the property, but I'm talking more so about a homeowner's policy. This is something that's going to protect you from any unforeseen liens or something that was missed by the title company that actually processes and handles the transaction, or for something that could come after you that was, you know, from way back when. The title company should be doing enough diligence that they're clearing that title free and clear to you so you feel confident that nothing's going to come after you, but sometimes things are unforeseen and they can happen. National statistics actually show that 1 in 4 people need to cash in their homeowner's policy of title insurance if they have one. 1 in 4 of those who have them. That's not even including everyone who doesn't have one. So it's really important to consider actually having it. And you need to educate yourself on what that is. Again, the professionals we've already talked about in this video so far are going to be able to make those connections. But if you need me to make that connection for you, I am happy to look into whatever I can for you. It's a pretty important thing to learn about and wise to consider getting for yourself. All right, now we're on to the final step. Step number 5 is to start seeing some homes and going to some open houses. However, don't start doing that until you've gotten these other steps in line. Why would I not want you to see houses before you have those in line? It's because you're gonna get roped up in, ooh, the house is so pretty, ooh, I love it, ooh, I want to move forward on it, I want to offer on it right now, but I don't know if I can even afford it. I don't know how to do it. What does this mean? How do I do that? You can avoid all of that headache, all of that confusion by getting these steps in line. And some of these steps can actually be taken care of in just a couple days, so you could be ready to go that fast. Or it might take a while, but if you're seeing houses, you're kind of wasting your time ahead of time when you could be getting things in line, because there might be something on your credit that's unforeseen, or there might be something about the process that you're unaware of that your realtor can open your eyes to. So get those other steps done first, then start seeing some houses. Plus, you might not even be able to see houses at all without a pre-qualification letter. There are many sellers out there who are not even allowing showings without that proof that you can afford a home, at least if it doesn't end up being their home. So you also want to make sure you see plenty of houses and plenty of homes in general, and go to lots of open houses, because pictures can be deceiving. You're going to see pictures of homes that are online and stuff like that, and you're going to fall in love with, ooh, I love that backsplash, ooh, I love that tile, ooh, I love this, I love that, but I can't see that side of the room. There might be a reason why that's not in the picture. You need to see the house to uncover some of those things, to know that you're completely sure that it's going to be a good one for you. But also, pictures can be deceiving the other way around. There might be really poor pictures online, but you go and see it in person and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome, it's perfect. But you wouldn't know it unless you went and saw it. So make sure you go see some homes. You also want to go to lots of open houses and see plenty of homes, because you may have a certain style in mind that you think you love. Like, I love a Cape Cod, I love a bungalow, I love new construction, something like that. But unless you go and see them, you don't really know what that style is like. They might look like they're a certain size, but then you see them and their layouts are just consistently just too small for you. Or maybe they're just too big and you don't want to heat and cool all that volume. Everything is relative to each person, but until you start seeing the houses, you won't really know the difference between them. Most of my buyers have something in mind of a style they think they want, and most of them actually end up choosing something that's different. I think I've only had a couple buyers who have ever picked a house or a particular style that they thought they wanted in the first place. And that's just because your interests and your desires are gonna change as you start to see homes, because things start to be uncovered. You start to get more familiar with layout and things like that. Now, when you're seeing some homes, you're gonna be so tempted to just go see everything. Something just got listed yesterday, I'm gonna go see it today. Boom, 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 boom. Take a deep breath. I've already said it once before probably. The more level-headed you can be, the easier your life is going to be throughout the process. Take a deep breath. You don't need to see something just because it got listed. If you're worried that something is going to sell that quickly, consult your professionals to see if you actually should be going to see it that fast. If it actually matches everything you want, then yes. But most likely it's not, especially if you haven't even started seeing your houses yet. Take a deep breath. It'll probably still be there, but make sure you've got your ducks in a row so when that time comes and you do need to move that fast, you've got everything in line already. But when you are seeing homes and you're going to want to see a lot of them at one time, but I really encourage you to maybe see only 3 or 4 at a time. Why? Why would I want you to restrict how many houses you could see in a day? Well, you possibly could see like 20 to 30 houses in a day, but that's a lot of houses. And you need to eat. You also need to take breaks, things like that. But a lot of them are going to start to run together. And if you can't remember how a certain house's layout was, or, you know, what is it like around that corner again? I can't remember. If you're only seeing 3 or 4 at a time, that gives you the time to take everything in, maybe go take a coffee break after you see 3 or 4 of them, and then you can discuss with your realtor, get refreshed on them, make your notes, and then go see some more. You're gonna feel much more confident on when that right home comes along, that's it. It's better than everything else because I can remember what all those other houses look like, other than at this point, I'm just gonna pick the next one because I've seen so many, I can't tell them apart. And you don't want that to happen. When it's the right house for you, you'll probably know. You'll get that feeling in your gut, but you'll also probably get it, and you're going to be confident about it because you followed all of these steps. Well, I hope you enjoyed some of these tips. I hope you learned something. If you did learn something, please hit that like and subscribe, and leave me a comment of stuff that you want to see more of. I do plan on making these specific videos on a lot of these steps that we went over, so we can get into some pretty nitty-gritty, and you can get a lot more education on that kind of stuff. But I wanted to keep today a little bit brief, give you a little bit more details you may not have thought of when it comes to each of these steps. But if you learned something, you felt good about it, hit that like. If you didn't, let me know what I can do to get better. I would love to learn how I can improve for you. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your concerns. If you liked it, let me know that too. I want to know if I'm doing good or not. So that's all for this video. Take care, and we'll see you next time.